Alright, so we're doing some Ancient Warrior test hands, and what I have set up is a 5 disruption board. We've got 2 Omni Negates, Abyss Dweller, Dawn Dragster, and a Crystal Wing. So this is just like generically 5 disruptions, and I don't think a deck would output that first turn board, but just for the sake of testing, we're trying to beat something like that. And since we're always going second deck, you have to be prepared for tough boards like this. So if we draw Dark Ruler no more, it's like an auto win. But if we don't, we're gonna have to do some smart Yu-Gi-Oh plays to break through it. So let's get into the first test hand. Now, if I draw a hand trap, I'm going to assume that it would take out, prevent them from stopping Crystal Wing, and if I have 2 hand traps, then it would stop them from making the Dawn Dragster. So first hand, I mean, we have Ash and we drew Dark Ruler, so we're in a good spot. Say we used the Ash and then they weren't able to summon the Crystal Wing. And for your own sake of testing, going second deck, you kind of like pretend you're playing against certain end boards and see what you can do with your hand. And assume your opponent's always making the smart negation on impactful cards. So we will draw for turn, and we drew a defensive Changban. Now, let's see. Well, clearly we just use Dark Ruler no more, shut off. They probably will shotgun Dweller, so we can't use the graveyard. Ancient Warriors doesn't use the graveyard too much, but Dark Ruler. And then we will summon Masterful Sunmo, and then use his effect by discarding the Changban. We will add... Well, that's actually unfortunate. Our only real option is to add Fearsome Zhang Yuan, because we drew both of these, the Yugioh Kong. Because if you have Dark Ruler no more and then Sun Mu, you can basically Dark Ruler into Exciton Knight and full board wipe, which can be a strong play. We don't have that option because I'm only playing 2 of them, and we happen to see both, so we have to add this guy who is like Battle Trap. But it's pretty good because it will allow us to beat over the Cyber Dragon Infinity, trigger his effect to destroy another monster on the field, and also trigger his effect to bounce. So we'll just go to battle phase, declare an attack on Infinity, activate his effect to special summon, and reduce his attack by 1000. So we have dealt with that. Now his effect will trigger because we destroy the monster by battle, and we can use that to destroy the FA Dawn Dragster. And because we triggered his effect outside of the damage step, we can now activate his effect to bounce. So we can go ahead and get rid of Herald of Arclight. And now we're just facing down Abyss Dweller, which is not very threatening versus us. This deck has probably one of the best board breaking abilities for any rogue deck. So let's get into another test hand. Tensu, Dark Ruler, Desires, Liu Shuan, and 3 visits. So, I don't know, I hope you guys aren't upset that I keep drawing Dark Ruler, because that kind of just makes it autopilot, but still I guess you guys can see the flow of an optimal Ancient Warrior combo or sequencing. It's not too heavy into combo, but like you need to, because you have so many effects to search and special summon from the deck, you kind of have to choose wisely about what you're summoning in each scenario. So we'll go ahead and draw for turn. So it's always a good hand when you have the continuous spell, because you get to search for whatever you need. You always also want to see Tanky, you want to see him, Sunmu, Desires. So we'll go ahead and activate Dark Ruler, negate our entire field there, and then in this case I would probably go ahead and activate Desires before I do anything. Now there's an argument where you don't want to banish all the stuff before you search, but in the off chance our opponent has Ash Blossom, we want them to negate this instead of our searches. So we'll go ahead and banish 10. 1, 2, 3. and face down, and then assuming no Ash Blossom, we'll draw 2 cards. And let's see what the damage is. Okay, that's actually... It hurts a little bit to lose 2 copies of Sun Mu, but we do have 1 left in the deck with a tanky in our hand, so that's probably okay. Now that it's pretty much safe to play freely, go ahead and just use Tanky, Tensu, and the 3 visits. With the Tanky, we're going to search the copy of Sun Mu. Now, there's multiple ways to sequence the Ancient Warriors, but if you have Blue Swan and your opponent has multiple monsters, or more monsters than you do after you summon him, you usually want to go for him because it's a stronger play. So go ahead and normal summon Lu Xuan with the Tensu normal summon, additional normal summon, I mean. Activating the effect of 3 visits to search. And at this point we can either search for Zhang De, or we can search for a Zhang Yuan. In this case, because we just want to break our opponent's board, he's probably a good choice because he can pop something, or help you get. You can help one of your lower attack when Ancient Warriors beat over something, and then pop a card, and then attack again himself. So it's a very powerful card. We're gonna go ahead and activate Lu Xuan's effect, sending Tanky to the graveyard, and we're going to special summon the Ancient Warriors Ambitious Chowda. Now, in this case, being able to attack over one of their monsters and steal it is actually amazing, because right now, with the Tensu up, he's 3100 attack, which means he can attack over the Crystal Wing and steal it, or he can attack over Dawn Dragster and steal it. So that's actually pretty overpowered in this situation, which, I highly underrated him for that fact, but it's very like matchup dependent. If you're playing against a Link spam deck, it's not as good. But against Synchro's fusions, or effect like main deck monsters that you can special summon back, you basically break your opponent's board and steal their negations on the following turn. It's pretty amazing. We still have our normal summon because we had the Tensu out. So we'll go ahead and summon Masterful Sun Mu. And then we're going to use his effect. We're going to... I would say we will just steal the Dawn Dragster. So we're going to send the Tensu to the graveyard and search for... I think the smart play is to add Yugioh. You could go for Zhang De if you want to have another monster in the field, but I like this because you can add him to your hand, activate his effect to special summon, and immediately activate Sun Mu's effect to bounce. And we're going to bounce the Crystal Wing. And then from here, go ahead and just go to our battle phase. Ambitious, let's see, actually, so we added him to our hand, and we're not going to have the board space because we want to steal the Dawn Dragster, which is fine. Let me think. Actually, you know what? Instead of adding him, we're just going to add... Well, yeah, we're going to go with the Zhang De. Go ahead and special summon him. And I say that because we need to beat over the Infinity while also stealing the Dawn Dragster. So, battle phase, attack Dawn Dragster, destroy, special summon to our side of the field, and then Zhang De attack Infinity. I forgot, Lu Xuan, when you declare an attack with an Ancient Warrior monster, draw a card. Or whenever Ancient Warrior is involved in attack declaration, you draw a card once per turn. So it's always a good thing. Go ahead and just beat over the Dweller, and then beat over the Arclight. So we cleared our opponent's board, stole a Spawn Trap negate, And then from here we can probably just link off into our Ancient Warrior Link monster. So we'll go ahead and use this, and then so I've been debating in this situation where your Ancient Warriors have benefits to being left up on the field. So if you Zhangde doesnde really have benefits, but Sunmu has the effect to bounce if you trigger another Ancient Warrior monster. Xiaode can prevent your opponent from targeting or destroying him while you control another Ancient Warrior. And then having Liu Xuan up will give you the draw an attack declaration, and also enable your Yugioh Kong to do monster negations. But in this case, I would probably get rid of Zhangde and the Liu Xuan into the Link monster. And then with the Link monster, we will add the defense of Changban. So that's actually this card, I very highly underrated it, because it's really slow, but if you're able to, because the Link monster allows you to search for any Ancient Warrior card, it's actually pretty good when you're able to search it on demand and end your turn with it up on the field. So this will enable us to basically activate a threatening roar, so your opponent can't attack your Ancient Warrior monsters, which is it's pretty huge, because if your opponent needs to attack over your monsters to get rid of them, it'll protect them, and then you get their effects again next turn. Or what you can do, let's say on the following turn, we have the Dawn Dragster, we have the Threatening Roar, we have Ash Blossom, and we have a quick effect, Bounce. So let's say we don't think we need the Threatening Roar effect, we can use the Link monster's effect, send this to the graveyard, and bounce one card they have on the field, face up. And then when they declare an attack, we can banish the Changban, and then special summon any Ancient Warrior from our deck. So I just want to show you guys the option. You have the option of using either one of those effects depending on the situation. Kind of don't really have much left in the deck. Like off Changban, I would probably try and summon Sunmu or Xiaode, or you can summon Fearsome Zhang Yuan just to stop your opponent from destroying your other Ancient Warriors by battle. So all these like small effects, which these like continuous effects on the Ancient Warrior monsters come into play sometimes, because you're able to bring them out on the field, and then your opponent has to keep tabs on what they all do. And since they all do 3 effects and they all have Chinese names, I'm pretty sure people will be confused. It's pretty interesting thing. I can't wait to play at locals again, showcasing this deck to people and having them be mind blown that they're getting beat down by Ancient Warriors. So let me try and do another test hand, and maybe this time we won't draw Dark Ruler, because that kind of just makes it too easy. And I kind of want to show you guys that there are times when you can't play through 5 disruptions. Because let's be honest, like this board is actually really intimidating if you didn't see Dark Ruler no more. At least for the average deck. So let's do another test hand. And after that quick shuffle, I saw Dark Ruler. Somehow I keep seeing that, so I'm just gonna go off the top. Alright, so this is looking like a typical, well, I wouldn't say typical, but it's a very Ancient Warrior filled hand. So we'll draw for turn. Yeah, this definitely is not going to play through it. Because, alright, actually let's see what happens. So, I don't know if you guys watch my other videos, but I always tell you guys how good Guan Yun is, because he basically forces out negates. So if our opponent has a monster negate, they're going to negate his summon, most likely, because he prevents your opponent from targeting, and he's just a big beat stick, right? Because then if we special summon him, it's the same thing with like Pancratops, like you're gonna try and negate him if you can. So if we attempt to summon him and they don't negate it, we will just go to battle phase and beat over the Herald of the Arclight. So they will negate it. So let's say they destroy him using the Crystal Wing effect. Most likely that's what they would do. And then we go summon Liu Xuan, and then don't use his effect because we really have no other things. Actually, we're going to use the second Guan Yun. It's not once per turn. This is why it's so good. So we're going to attempt to summon him, and they're going, let's say, they will use the Cyber Dragon Infinity to negate and destroy him. Now at this point, if we had like a Monster Reborn in our hand, we could bring him back and try for a third time to Guan Yun pop and attack. But we don't have that. So in this case, I'm going to summon Liu Xuan and then not use his effect because they still have that Herald of the Arclight. But actually, now all we have to do is attack over the Herald of the Arclight. That's taken care of. Go to main phase 2, and they're left with just the Dawn Dragster. So we go ahead and activate his effect. You know what, actually, during the battle phase, what we could have done, because they used up the 2 monster negates that they had. Actually, no. Herald of the Arclight can negate during the damage step because it negates the activation. So we didn't do that. We'll go ahead and activate Liu Xuan's effect, and we are going to send Defensive Changban to the graveyard, and this will allow us to special summon from the deck. We will fetch for... so if you don't have your battle phase, the best Ancient Warrior to have is Sun Mu, because you can still get the Compulse-like bounce effect off during main phase 2. So we'll do that, and then go ahead and activate Zhangde's effect to special summon, triggering the effect of Sun Mu, and we will bounce the Crystal Wing. Will we bounce the Crystal Wing? Let's see. Actually, I don't know if that's even the best play, to be honest. Let's say we... So maybe we save that. So this is what I'm saying, guys. Like, Ancient Warriors, it's not the easiest deck to play, and especially because there's no one really posting tutorials on how to play this at a high level. You kind of have to think for yourselves the alternate routes you can take. So let's see. Yeah, I guess still go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to bounce the Cyber Dragon Infinity, so that's taken care of, and then we will go ahead and then Exceed Summon. So I don't think we can completely... Yeah, really the only way we could have completely destroyed their board in this case was to summon Exciton Knight, but that kind of leaves us with nothing for next turn. So yeah, let's say Ancient Defensive Changban in the graveyard, and then I think we just go Castel and get rid of the Crystal Wing because that's still threatening. But the Dawn Dragster and the Beast Dweller aren't that big of a deal. So Castel, bounce, and then from here, actually what I would do is yeah, that's kind of what we end on here. Not the best situation. Actually, I forgot. We are playing with the Link Monster. So we're going to link these two off. Summon the Link Monster, which will allow us to search. In this case, we already have him. So he's usually good for battle protection. But since we have the option of searching for any Ancient Warrior card, it's a tough choice. I would say what we need is just a follow-up for next turn so we can get Sun Mu. Probably the most solid play. And really we're just trying not to get OTK'd. So if our opponent attacks, if they know that you have this in your hand, they probably won't attack with a weak, like a monster that's stronger than him by under 1,000. But yeah, from the herd, now you're kind of in a grind game, because assuming your opponent burnt all their resources to make those 5 monsters. I think we're in an even game state. Alright, let's see, let's do another test hand. Ooh, this is rough. 2 ash, yeah, I don't think this is going to be very good. So let's say we bricked on that one. I hate seeing multiples in this deck, particularly. The only card that you benefit from seeing multiples of is the Guan Yun. Every other card you only want to see at max 1 in your hand, otherwise it's just redundant. It doesn't, I wouldn't say it bricks, it's just kind of like not useful immediately. Like there's no real dead cards per se, but there are cards that are dead turn 1, just because you either are locked out from summoning or activating monster effects, or you have multiple cards that are once per turn, things like that. So sometimes, I mean, it's part of the game, but yeah, we'll see. I've been doing a lot of test hands with this, and it's been pretty good. So it's a good draw for turn. Go ahead and activate Pod Desires. Our opponent's going to negate that with the Dawn Dragster, but we still have to banish 10 cards. So the important cards we banished, nothing really. Like nothing really. It would be nice to draw Dark Ruler, but we're not going to be able to see it. I think in this case, opponent used up 1 spell and trap negate on that. Still have 2 Omni negates and a monster effect negation, and we are shut off from the graveyard. So we'll probably force an Omni negate by activating Pod Desires again. Remember, this is going to activate 1 per turn. If they negate the activation, you can go ahead and activate another one. So Pod Desires is a great card going second decks just because you bait out negations. Ooh, it is rough. So only Sun Mu left is in the hand, and we banished the Cao De. So opponent negated that too. Go ahead and activate Fire Formation Tensu. Our opponent probably would not negate that. So we'll go ahead and let's see. So in this specific setup, the best thing to do would be to attack over Herald of the Arclight and then follow up and play. So they still have a monster negation, and they have Herald of the Arclight on the negation. So we'll go ahead and summon Sun Mu, enter battle phase, and attack over Herald of the Arclight. And then we will go to main phase 2. So, actually, you know what? I forgot. Let's run that back. Still in main phase 1. I forgot we have the Tensu additional normal summon. Go ahead, summon him, Zhao Gong. And the tricky thing is that you don't want to activate their effects because Crystal Wing will negate it. So you have to go to battle phase. So battle phase will kill Herald of the Arclight, kill Abyss Dweller, then go to main phase 2, and now we have 3 monster effects that we can activate. How we're going to sequence this is that we want to do first the least important one, because that will basically force their hand. So we'll go ahead and so I would say summoning Zhang De is the most if it gets negated, it's the least impactful. So we'll go ahead and activate this effect to special summon. Let's see. You know what? We should have done that during main phase because it would bait the negation anyways. So Crystal Wing negates and destroys them. So yes, now we have cleared all the monster negations. And we will use the Yugioh to send this to graveyard to search. And in this case, we are going to add. See, we banished like half our deck, so whatever we got left, I will add 3 visits. And because we activate another Ancient Warrior Monster's effect, we can use Sun Moon's effect to bounce Crystal Wing. Let's see. Actually, see the Submarine Infinity is also very threatening. So I think we will. Let's say we bounce Infinity. Now we're going to use Sun Moon's effect to send 3 visits to the graveyard. Okay, we have Yugioh Column. I'm going to add that off the effect of Sun Moon. Activate his effect to special summon. And then we are going to link Wind Ancient Warrior plus another Beast Warrior into the link monster. Now when the link monster is summoned, add an Ancient Warrior card from your deck to your hand. We'll go ahead and add Borrowing of Arrows. We will activate Borrowing of Arrows and then use the Allied General's effect, sending Borrowing of Arrows to graveyard to bounce the Crystal Wing. Actually, yeah, that's what we do. And then Borrowing Arrows effects will activate this from the deck because we control 2 Ancient Warrior monsters of different attributes. So from there, we broke our opponent's board, and we managed to set up 2, like 1 quick effect negation and then 1 trigger effect negation, which is actually like not too bad if you ask me. So we'll have a follow-up play for following. We don't have a follow-up play because we don't have cards in hand, but if we are managed to lock our opponent out from killing these by battle, then should be able to secure game next turn. So this is just some cool demonstrations of what Ancient Warriors can do. I hope you guys found it useful. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Let me know what your favorite Ancient Warrior card is and how you like the playstyle of this deck. So see you guys in the next one. Peace.